How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to flying. I'm just going to change the title up here. Xplane flying around the world. This is part 2. Xplane Vatsim KORF to KFLL 737. Your changes are being saved. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. I'm just going to fire up the aircraft here. We've got our flight plan. We are going to, today, we're going to Kilo Foxtrot Lima Lima Fort Lauderdale Hollywood Airport. We are leaving from Kilo Oscar Retro Foxtrot, which is Norfolk in Virginia. Our flight plan today, we are going from Clappy to DIW to CeeLo to MC to Snabs to Lens to Permit to Neil, and then right into the airport. We're most likely going to be going for the ILS approach today. That being because there is some weather going on in Florida from what I've seen so far. Let me see if I can see if I can bring up a weather radar and show you guys what is exactly going on. Maps and radar. Get a load here. Let's get rid of that. But from what we can see here, we do have weather to the north of Fort Lauderdale. We'd probably be flying either right over top of it, right through it, and landing. We'll keep that tab open. And let's get the engines fired up here. Control-Shift-E. I don't have... I don't know all the stuff for that, so let's get fired up here. We will... starting up. Control-Shift-E. There we go. Should be firing up, I hope. Yep, there we go. Okay, so we do have going here. Let's get into Squawk Box here. Connect. Okay, let's see who's online. Actually, we'll send them this here as well. So our right is going to be Clappy, DIW, CeeLo, MC, Snabs, Lens, Permit, Neil. Okay, we're going KORF to K. Oops, that doesn't clear automatically. Okay, KFLL. I'm not gonna worry about that. I noticed yesterday this was a little bit lower. It could have been because we had a headwind. I'm not too sure. So we're going to turn that down to 450. Make sure I don't have the reverse thrusters on. Departure time is going to be 2030 Zulu. Flight time, I'm going to say it's going to be about 2 hours or so. Alright, we're going to send that off. Okay, so there we go. Let's just bring it up and see who is online. See if there's anyone available we can talk to. There's actually nobody online right now. Okay, so it's just us in here. So I've programmed this now. I don't know if this is going to work.
Push cart on the way.
Push cart on the way. I'm going to go push back.
Here we go.
Gonna bring up the map there as well.
Hey, I need your brakes off.
I guess that would help. There we go. I actually have no idea where we're going here, so let him push us back a little bit and we'll see if we can find the runway.
Okay, I'm clearing now.
Okay, so he is clear. So let's get all of our lights on here. Panel is on already. Master's on. Fuel pump, don't need to de-ice. Pitot heat we don't need right now. Let's get the seatbelt sign to on. We're going to set our altitude. Our first one is 30,400. Let's get to that. 30,000. Ooh, I'm way off. 30,400. We're going to climb 2,000 feet a minute. Which I'll probably have to fix that anyways. Cruising speed is going to be 300 knots. Okay. Let's get rolling. Yeah, I see a runway sign there. I don't remember when we landed at this airport where we were. I don't think we went very far off the taxiway, which I think when we land in Fort Lauderdale, that's what we're gonna do. Straighten this out. We're gonna take off runway 5 is what I would like. Don't have any air traffic controller here. Not much wind, fairly clear. Get on that center line. What we'll do, actually, what we should have done is Kilo Oscar Retro Foxtrot traffic. Charlie Foxtrot Yankee Alpha is taxiing to runway 5. I'll just check, make sure we got no traffic here, which we should always do. Not seeing any traffic. Frequency am I on? Okay, so we do have, I don't know what that is, but okay. So our next flight after this, we'll be going from Fort Lauderdale to Nassau. We might even do it today if we've got the time. We could do it today. I don't know if we will or not, but we might. Power back to idle here. Some brakes on. Charlie Foxtrot Yankee Alpha is turning on to runway 05 for departure. We'll be heading out 210 Foxtrot Yankee Alpha. What we're going to do is just set a heading 050 here. Got single notch flaps in, and we're going to go full power. Pretty much lift itself off the runway here in a sec. We're up. Positive rate, gear up. So what I'm gonna do, turn on, whoa. I watch the instruments there. So I'm gonna auto throttle on, we're gonna go speed. I'm gonna take my feet off the rudders here. There, and we're just going to bring this down. Go 2,000 feet a minute, and we're going to go there. Try and reconnect here. I figure out where that's going here. Disconnect and try and reconnect here. I'm trying to figure out is if it's having us go we're still doing a turn, so it could be. There's the airfield there. Nice spot, nice spot. Beautiful VFR conditions, but we are IFR. But we're going to go 30,400 until we get to Clappy, and then we will go to 35,000. We can fly the VNAV and the LNAV on the autopilot. .343 knots. Be a little bit more lined up here, then we should get a better speed going once we get leveled off. Alright, so yeah, I got a notice there that apparently you have to use your real first and last name for your thing. I just had my first name in there, so hopefully that's alright now. Yeah, going almost through 8,000 feet. Still no traffic controllers in the area. Look at that there. I wonder if it'll... I'm gonna try something here. Forwards is period. Okay, that's weird. Go back to the default view. Sunglasses, oh that's kind of cool. Well, isn't that neat? There we are, ladies and gentlemen. We actually have a plane number, a tail number. I didn't know that. Well, that aircraft is looking beautiful. You can probably put those flaps up there. I'm going to be honest with you, I did forget about it. Let's see here if they're all kind of the same view, which is kind of weird. Oh shit, we lost our plane. Well, let's just go back to where we were here. Default view. Okay, now we're back in the plane. So we are turning to be directly in line with Clappy. Welcome, whoever just joined. Well, a lot better weather than yesterday. Yesterday we were definitely up above the clouds most of the time. Didn't get to see much until we were kind of at the airport. If you watched yesterday, we did have a missed approach flying into Kilo Oscar Retro Foxtrot, and it's Norfolk. But yeah, we did have missed. That was my fault, coming in a little too hot. But I now know not to come in at 4,000 feet at 220 knots. But we're holding 300 knots here, 373 knot ground speed. Wind is 27 at 301. We are 61 nautical miles from the Clappy intersection. But our total distance today is going to be 693 nautical miles. I think once we get up to 37,000 feet, we should get moving at a pretty good speed here. So I think yesterday our average speed was about 420 knots over ground. I'm guessing this is the Chesapeake here. It looks like From what I've read online, I don't know that one. Maybe that was the one we just took off from. Yes, I believe that's the airport we just took off from. But I think I saw online when I always go through in Google Maps and check out, see what the airports are around the area. I thought there was a military base around here. If we have any Americans that watch, feel free to leave a comment to see if maybe I'm losing my mind or not. I could have swore there was an air base somewhere around here as well. I could be wrong. See how we're doing here. We are currently 51 nautical miles from Calliope. 300 knot cruise speed right now. Ground speed 390 knots. And the wind is at 298 at 3.3, just off to our right. Maybe we can get a tailwind in and we can get moving a little bit faster. But now we're doing for fuel. We have a total of 16.9 thousand pounds on board. Currently burning an average probably between 5 and 6 right now, just due to that's just due to we're still climbing right now, trying to maintain 300 knots with the autopilot. But yeah, anybody watching, if you're familiar with the Norfolk area, I could have swore there was an air base around here, maybe not. I could be just losing my mind. But I believe that is the airport we just took off from. That is Norfolk, I believe. I could be wrong. Oh, let's try that. Let's see if I can get the, let's see if I can show that where we just taxied from. No, I don't think that's the airport we just left from. Could be wrong, but I don't think it is. Maybe that is the airbase. I just don't know. But for those of you just joining us, we are on our way to Kilo Foxtrot Lima, Fort Lauderdale. We are traveling around the world in this series. So this one here, we're traveling to Fort Lauderdale. We're probably going to be in a Cessna for our next episode, traveling over to Nassau, Bahamas. From the Bahamas, we are going to go to Saint Martin. Let me bring it up here. I'll bring up the full jazz on what we were doing. Let's take a look here. Alright, so we went from from Peterborough in Ontario down to Norfolk. We were going Norfolk to Fort Lauderdale, Fort Lauderdale to Nassau, and then we're going Nassau to Saint Martin, Saint Martin to Grenada, and then we're going Grenada to... Let me just get into satellite here so I can see a little bit better. Satellite. The next one on our list is, where are you now? Geez, hopefully I don't lose it while we're flying there. The one that we're flying to anyways is, it's kind of in the central South America. Let me see if I can find it here. So anyways, after that we are going to fly to somewhere in Chile. We'll fly over the mountains there, go from Chile to the Falkland Islands, Falkland Islands to Antarctica. We're going to go Antarctica to Cape Town. Then we're going to go up the west side of Africa through the desert. We're going to end up in probably Morocco. We're going to go through Spain. We're going to start in Barcelona, Paris. We're going to stop in London. Probably stop in Germany. Then we're going to go from Germany to Greece. We'll land in Athens. From there, we're going to go Athens to Alexandria in Egypt. Probably go to Jerusalem. Fly over from Jerusalem. We're going to fly over to Baghdad. Baghdad to Kuwait, and then into Saudi Arabia. Then from there, we'll probably fly into Kabul into New Delhi. New Delhi will fly somewhere. I want to go through the mountains of Nepal, so we'll go through somewhere in there. From there, we'll fly into China. We're going to land in North Korea. I'm going to go to Japan, then to Guam, from Guam to Hawaii, Hawaii to Anchorage, Alaska, and then we're going to fly probably through the mountains, all that jazz, to Vancouver. Then we'll go Vancouver down into the desert down there, and then we will probably go from the desert there back to Peterborough, which is CYPQ. And then from there we can do from under that series. I guess will probably last a couple of weeks, anyways. Actually, I should probably pay attention here. We are 19 miles from Clappy, and then yeah, we'll do some Caribbean cruising, and we'll check out to see what different things. You guys have any ideas for flights? Let me know what aircraft you want. I do want to try. I was reading online someone doing. Like the Hiroshima and the B-52 was flying from, I can't remember was it Midway Atoll? I don't know, I could be wrong. Could have been from Guam, I have no idea, to Japan and back, which I think would be pretty cool to try out in the B-52. This series, yeah, from the Bahamas and cruising in the Caribbean, we're going to do it like a Cessna or a Beechcraft, something smaller. Once we do the mountains, we'll probably do the mountains in a Cessna, that way we can kind of cruise between the peaks and stuff like that. See all that cool stuff. We are creeping up on 30,000 feet here now. We have a ground speed of 456 knots. There's your alarm for 1,000 feet. But winds 3.9 at 294. But yeah, once we get to Clappy, I will turn it on. We will be on VNAV, and that'll be your vertical navigation. So that kind of goes through and controls your vertical, your up and down in the aircraft. You have your LNAV, which is your, from what I understand, your lateral navigation. So it'll kind of steer you on a route you want to go. We're about to cross over Clappy here in 7 nautical miles. Once we go from Clappy, we'll be going to DIW, which, whoa, wait a minute. Do I have a dead pixel on my screen? Nope, maybe not. Okay, that's good. And we're going to be going to DIW or DO. I don't know how it's pronounced. Let's just check out the map though, see whereabouts we are. Let's zoom out. Looks like we're maybe flying just about into North Carolina. Could be wrong there. We'll be ending up in Florida. We're about to cross over to Clappy. We've got 1.5 miles. But it looks, the weather is a lot better than what it was yesterday, that's for sure. A little bit of lag there. Oh, there we go. Clouds have loaded in. Okay, so we're into a bit of a more cloudy weather here. Alright, so let's click on to our vertical nav, so this will bring us, it's supposed to. What's going on here? There we go. Okay, so there we go. So now it's going to hold that speed at 300 knots. It's going to bring us up to 35,000 feet. Outside temperature is minus 44 degrees Celsius. It is a brisk winter day out there. I was actually going to record the weather for when we left each airport, but I forgot to do it. Let's. I'm going to check out the weather on my phone here for where we are. So yeah, I do see on my phone that there is some cloud cover that's down there. I believe that from Norfolk. Let's see if I can find it here. Losing my mind. Norfolk is up north further. There we go. So yeah, it was cleared. It looked like we are starting to go into a bit of weather here. No, what did I just hit? I didn't turn anything off, did I? I did. That isn't good. Let's turn that back on. And everything else still looks normal. Okay, that's good. But yeah, there is weather developing. We will be crossing. A lot of this trip will actually be over ocean, which is kind of cool. We haven't done that yet. I find it so weird how this does. It's like it gets up to altitude, it just like pulls the throttle all the way back, and just to bring the nose down. But Florida right now is getting hammered by thunderstorms, so that's going to be a cool approach. It's going to try and bring us back up to our 300 knots, our 0.80 of Mach that we have in there. The interesting thing that I actually didn't know about is, for the longest time, until I started doing my flight lessons, is the higher up you are, the faster you're going to go, is your ground speed's going to be higher, because, yeah, the air center, you're a little bit higher up. But that's what I didn't know. So, like, I always used to see in Flight Simulator X where you'd be getting an overspeed at 260 knots, and that's just because you're probably cruising at whatever speed when you're up this high. But there we are, we're at 0.8 of, or 80% of Mach. Engines are coming down there now, 35,000 feet. And they're going to tune down. We're using 2.7 thousand pounds, 2.8 thousand pounds an hour. Ground speed's 455 knots. And wind is 39, so 40 knots at 295. So it's not really a crosswind, it's more of a crosswind than it is a headwind, which is, I don't know, I couldn't tell you. But it looks like we are into the weather here. So after DIW, so we've got 5 minutes to DIW, 43 nautical miles, we will be at Silo. So let me check the map here to see what waypoint is. Let me go over the ocean. So Silo is over the ocean. So Clappy to DIW. After DIW, we will be over the ocean. So Silo is over, MC is over, Snabs, Lens, Permit, and Neil. Scroll back down there so I can see my distances. But I think it's going to be exciting going to. I think it'll be cool flying over the Amazon. I think it's also going to be really cool to fly into Antarctica. It's going to be a. I just turned off the autopilot again. Let's arm all this stuff back up. Okay, but yeah, I think it's going to be really cool to fly in Antarctica. It's going to be a difficult landing. We are actually not going to be in this plane. I think we're going to do it in a C-130. See if there's even a runway out there. Oh, there's a runway below us down there. I didn't even see that. You'll be able to see it here in a minute. I'm going to look for a plugin to see if there's a better, I don't know if the router is updated or if it's refreshing, or if it's, the clouds are gone. No, okay, it's just refreshing. Alright, so you actually can't see that because those clouds moved in. We do have one person on for Vatsim right now. I'm just going to not let this do this, okay? We want that open. So we do have one person for Vatsim, 121.9. Looks like that's Cleveland ground. It'll be interesting to see if anybody's online in Florida when we get there. We're at minus 54 degrees Celsius. It's brisk out there, brisk. I'm gonna check. Yeah, I'm gonna want to check to see if there is a plugin that's a little bit better for a map. Because this one here, when I bring it, click back on that. Okay, so that's not bad. So that kind of gives us a bit of an idea, but yeah, it doesn't. I don't know why it does that. Let's see if the winds are at 34,000 feet. So it's pretty consistent. We're gonna have a crosswind most of the flight. Not gonna worry about approach right now. No approach selected. But yeah, it doesn't show me unless you zoom in so far. I've noticed that the radar doesn't work on it either. I don't know, so maybe we'll find one that will have that. Right now, I've just been using my phone. I'm guessing that it's up to date with the weather. But we are still looking good here. T95, 39 knots, 453, what? What was that? We are losing. I don't know why I did that. Turn that off. We're losing altitude for some reason. Maybe that will fix it? I don't know, let's find out. I've had some issues with this autopilot. I had some yesterday where we were flying and it kind of just it's not flying us on our flight plan either. What is going on here? Okay, so I'm going to turn off the autopilot there. I'm just going to put us into a little bit more level flight. Restart the autopilot. There, I guess it just had to be reset again. So, for my guess, after we go to DIW, but it's still climbing. I don't get that. Why are you climbing? You shouldn't be climbing. Auto throttle's on. Something going on with the flight computer, maybe? Cruise 3,500 feet, yeah. Let's just try and reset this, maybe. No, that's all normal. It's still running the engines wide open for some reason. Looks like it's trying to keep up with that, but... We'll just do this. Vertical airspeed down. And I guess we'll just have to do it that way when it gets down to... Let's see what happens here. I do not know what's going to happen. Yeah, something weird going on with the flight computer. We're direct to CELO right now, and it should maintain these, but it's not. Let's see here, once it gets to this, to 0.8, so yeah, it's picking up, so it's going to try and hold 0.8. It's just a matter if it's going to try and hold 35,000 feet again. Weird, because yeah, it did this yesterday. If I don't know if anyone was watching yesterday or not, but yeah, it did this yesterday where we'll be flying, and then it'll just, the autopilot will just drop. It'll hit a waypoint and it'll just drop out and decide not to work. Looks like we're back to that, and then we're still just losing. So it is controlling the throttle now, I guess, because we have the speed button hooked up. 1,000 feet. So we are over the ocean right now. I can tell you that much. But let's just see here if Just see here if it brings up our altitude, if it levels off at a straight and level flight when we do get here. It is holding the speed, which is good. It does look like it's holding the proper heading for the flight computer. It does look like we're leveling off. Okay, so I would say that this is working correctly now. I'm just going to reset the stream here. Just one sec. UXR. I wonder if there's a way to see weather. Probably not on these ones. This was probably not up to date enough, I'm guessing. I'm guessing we could probably turn off the seatbelt lights now too. That. Okay, so yeah, we are cruising at 459 knots over ground. And that is what the outside looks like right now. Neato. Let's see if we get a couple of different views going here. It's beautiful looking. Beautiful looking airplane. I like how it even shows the detail in the windshields. Let's get a different view here. New chase. Little bit of lag, little bit of lag. Easy does her. Get a screenshot of that. There we go. Screenshot. Alright, we're gonna go back inside the plane because we are getting some lag out here. I think it's one thing I've noticed. I think it's just the I think it's the clouds that do it. But everything's still looking good out here. We are, yeah, over the ocean. If the weather's just refreshing, if I had to guess, we'll probably still be over the clouds. Oh, maybe not. Maybe we're out of the clouds now. It looks like we're out of the clouds. A whole lot of ocean out there. "15 minutes to Silo." So Silo is actually the longest leg here. It's 158 nautical miles. Shortest leg is Snabs at 22 miles. So the Neil will probably be smaller. But I'm not too sure if it is or not. I'm excited though. I am excited to fly through some thunderstorm there. Let's just check the weather here. They're probably here somewhere. So Florida's still getting hammered by thunderstorms. So it'll be interesting to fly through that. We'll be flying probably straight up instruments. That's if the weather is up to date in the game. But got a good fuel burn going here. Still only one air traffic controller. That is 121 Cleveland. I think it's Cleveland. Cleveland ground, if I had to guess. Let's see if we can get a shift 4. Look at that. Beautiful. I wonder if we can see land. Oh yeah, I still can. Beautiful looking beaches down there. See if we can see the Bahamas. I don't think we'll be able to. It's still pretty far out. Pretty neat. Pretty neat. W to get back to the pilot seat. It's still looking good here. 92 miles to CeeLo. 12 minutes. Let's turn into 121.9, see if we can hear anybody talking here. 121. Charlotte, that's what it is. Charlotte. I just read that from the chat log. Yeah, one of my flights that I really want to try to do as well is Fort Alert. For those of you that don't know, Fort Alert is an Arctic military base. I've flown there in Flight Simulator X, and it was hard. I flew in there. It was in, I think it may have been a 737, maybe 747. It was a long flight. I can tell you that much. I flew out of Ottawa on that one. I actually just like left the game for a little while. You know, the game do its thing. Came into land, and yeah, when I came into land, it was pretty heavy fog. And when I did come into land, it was a rough landing, that's for sure. Oh, god damn it. Those of you wondering about hardware, for flight controls, we are using the SADIC flight yoke system. I have the yoke, I have the switch panel, I have the throttle quadrant, I have a trim wheel, as well as pedals. The trim wheel I don't use in the 737, I use it in the Cessna. Pedals really you only have to use when you're on the ground. If you sometimes use it when you're in like a smaller aircraft. Oh, Jesus Christ. God damn it, I did it again. Hopefully it doesn't screw up the doesn't screw it up too much. Still an altitude hold. Yeah, I think we're still good. I gotta switch that. Yeah, the my air traffic, or like my communications button that I have on my yoke, it's also the autopilot disconnect. Oh god, I'm tired. So I went to go see Solo last night. I was up a little bit later than what I should have been. 8.6 minutes out, 65 nautical miles. Let's see if we can update the weather here. Update weather. Same weather. Good Atlanta Center. I don't know if we turn into 121.9, if we contact him. We're gonna have to fix this again. I don't know if we contact him, if he'll give us weather for Florida or not. I'm just gonna fix something here because this is driving me absolutely nuts. Joystick 4. 5 trim pitch up and down. Can we just delete that? I would prefer if it wasn't there. I don't want to do that. The top. No, it doesn't let me delete it. Cancel. Okay, those are the clock buttons. Because like I don't usually use the trim. I don't know how I would clear that. Okay, there we go. Edit that. That, apply. They do nothing now. Okay, done. Okay, perfect. We can try and contact Atlanta Center and see if he will, see if he'll help us out here. 132 970. What's Plane doing here? What's Plane doing? Still doing alright? Okay, we're still managing our speed, so we're going 132 970. Oh wait, 970. Huh. Why is it doing that? You're not supposed to be doing that. Damn. I don't know why. Alright, let's see if Atlanta Center will get us some weather here. Atlanta Center, Charlie Foxtrot Yankee Alpha.
Charlie Foxtrot Yankee Alpha.
Atlanta Center, we're just wondering if you're able to provide us weather for Kilo Foxtrot Lima Lima Airport, Fort Lauderdale.
Bye-bye. Aircraft calling for you weather at Fort Lauderdale. Where's the copy?
Sorry, what was that?
Are you ready to copy the weather?
Ready. I thought he was going to give us weather, but maybe not.
Charlie Foxtrot Yankee Alpha, say the couple.
See, I don't know, maybe it's my headphones. I'm having the same issue I was having last night. I'll just... Atlanta Center, Charlie... Atlanta Center, Charlie Foxtrot Yankee Alpha, just having trouble hearing you. Would you be able to provide it through text?
Charlie Foxtrot Yankee Alpha, weather at Fordale of winds variable, visibility 10, static size 4,000, ceilings broken at 7,000, broken 1 to 12,000, and we have some thunderstorms with severe light rain and continuing the clouds.
That's awesome. Atlanta Center, thank you, Charlie Foxtrot Yankee Alpha. That is, I guess, the handy thing about...
Atlanta Center United 2400 inbound for Atlanta.
I guess that's the handy thing about having like this, is being able to do that.
2400 Atlanta, take position.
I'm just going to switch frequencies back over just because... Actually, you know what? I'll just keep them on frequency. Never know. But let's see where we're at here. 20 nautical miles from Silo. 20 nautical miles. Silo, our next one I think was MC, and it's a leg of 74 nautical miles.
Atlanta Center, I'm currently getting ready to pass over the state of Mississippi. I'm still over the state of Louisiana.
Okay, Roger. Call me in your mind after.
Roger, Atlanta Center, United 2400.
So yeah, it's kind of weird going from. I'm currently doing flight training right now, and I started in an uncontrolled airport, moved to a controlled airport. It was so much weirder, like a lot more weird talking to an actual controller than what it was, like just talking in general. I don't know, maybe it's just me being weird. But yeah, I find this game's helped me a little bit. Like I feel like a little bit more comfortable. Oh, what do we got here? Miami Center.
Radio check.
We're going to switch to 132.250. 132.
Atlanta Center, 666. That was garbled. Can you do a radio check for me again, please?
250. 250.
Across on Atlanta Center, not catching calls. 10. Sorry about that. We got our gates messed up.
No problem. Continue via Tango, cross runway 12 at Tango, contact ground point 8 on the other side.
This is Miami Center, correct? Yes, it is.
We'll cross runway 12, we'll continue with Tango, and we'll take the ground on point 8 once we're on the other side of the runway. Thank you. Have a good day.
You too, yeah.
Miami Center, Charlie Foxtrot Yankee Alpha is with you at flight level 350. We just crossed over Silo en route to Fort Lauderdale.
I'm calling Miami Center, say location.
current location was the fixed silo. We're just out over the ocean.
Aircraft calling I said I don't have you on radar yet.
Okay, no problem. We'll stay on frequency. Charlie Foxtrot Yankee Alpha. Alright, so we are about 8 minutes from MC, and then we'll be Snabs. So MC 74 nautical miles. This is, I think, the most controllers I've had. It's kind of handy, like it's been like en route to where we're going. So hopefully it's like this as we get to like different countries. Hopefully, like if we're like when we get into South America and stuff like that, we have these options. Just gonna update the weather here. Update weather. I don't think you can update it in game like any other way. Edit failures.
American 808, turn left heading 090, decimal maintain 4000.
Just gonna double check the weather here.
Left 090 down South American
Let's just check
808.
the map. So we are pretty far out in the ocean from what I can see. It doesn't let me zoom out though. Just drives me nuts. Yeah, so we are pretty far in the ocean, I can tell you that much. Pull this piece of junk map. A whole lot of ocean out there, that's for sure. If we had an engine failure at this point, I don't know if we would make it to shore or not. So we're between... So yeah, we're... Let me zoom out here. So I can zoom out on this map that I have open on my other monitor. So we are what? 50 miles from MC. So I'm going to say we're probably about here. So I'd say we're just at the very top end of Florida. From what I can kind of see on the map. So I'm going to check and see weather that way. We're just on the top. So I'd say we're probably near... Probably near like Brunswick, Florida. We're probably from there, from the ocean. According to this, we should have some weather coming into it. I don't know what this weird squares that we're coming up on here. But it does look to be relatively clear. I think we're just kind of going through a clear patch as it is. Fort Lauderdale's still engulfed in thunderstorms, though. Which I can't wait to fly through that. Once we get closer, we can get the ILS in. That's it. If it's clear, we'll do the visual. I haven't done a visual yet. This is the second time I've flown this aircraft. Like doing it like this, I've always just kind of dicked around on it and. Kind of wondering if this is like a weather thing, maybe? Go into a different view and check it out and see. View, external, chase. I don't know, just random ass square in the ocean here. Huh. View, internal, default.
It's all aircraft by me information, Echo, current wind 1103. Visibility 3, RVR runway non-air 3,500 variable plus 6,000. Thunderstorms in the vicinity, airport, heavy rain, ceiling 5,000, broken, overcast 7,000, temperature 2.21, altimeter 3003.
So relatively high pressure, I guess, down there right now.
American 808, please expedite your descent.
But we do. Just gonna switch.
It'd be nice if I hadn't cutting it up draft here for 808.
American 808, fly, American 808, turn left heading 2707, we're fast when able.
Alright, we're just going to disconnect from that radio for now until we get a little bit closer. I think we'll be able to see, I'm pretty confident we're going to be able to see the Bahamas from when we're flying in. I know just the water's dirty here. I don't know, it's weird just having a random spot of not loading the map. But where are we here? We are 27 nautical miles from MC. From MC, we'll be to Snabs. So I'd say we're about halfway there right now. I'd say that's fairly accurate. Once we get closer, I'll look up the radio frequency for Fort Lauderdale, get the approach frequency for the iNav. For those of you that don't know, I didn't know when I first started flying this plane. When you go for this aircraft, anyways, you enter your frequency into here. It never gave me a squawk code, which I'm surprised. I guess we didn't really contact an airport to take off. And then yeah, so when you're within, I can't really show. When we get closer to show you, there's like a mini arrow on the map. You click approach, and then it'll line up. If you're flying it in manually, you'll see these purple lines here. You just have to fly it centered. It'll tell you if you're left or right, anything like that. We got a weather update. You'll check the settings here. We're in the wrong one. Let's go here. All right, so it's regularly updating. We're gonna change the refresh rate to every 15 minutes, and that way we're getting realistic weather, not every hour. Oh, there's the poop brown. Whoa, a little bit of turbulence there. What's going on here? Yeah, it must have had a big updraft or something. That's kind of weird. Let's check our flight instrument here. Engines are all still good. Altitude 35,000 feet. Still got speed. But I do see some weather up ahead. What are the winds like up here? So we're kind of getting into a bit of a headwind here now. We're at 24 knots at 230. So we are going to lose some speed. Between lens and permit, we're to descend to 22,100. Snabs. It's a pretty short leg from through Snabs to lens. Well, my one thing I'm going to do with this game, and we're going to fly through any weather, no matter what. Thunderstorm, blizzard. It'll be cool once we get into the southern hemisphere to see what the what the weather's like, temperature rise and all that. Like I'll check. I'm going to check right now, just kind of see what the weather's like through the rest of my. Here, temperatures. So right now in Fahrenheit, Nassau, which will be our next destination after Fort Lauderdale, it's 88. In St. Martin, it's 86. We get into Grenada. Don't have any weather for Grenada. Don't really have any weather for anywhere else. Manaus, that was the other spot we're going to look into. Let's take a look at Manaus and the weather. Manaus. Brazil. It's 27 degrees Celsius there, feels like 39 with the humidity. Stopped in Santiago, Chile. Santiago, Chile. It's 20 degrees Celsius there, so it's starting to cool down. They do have a fairly large weather system in there right now. Get rid of this cloud base. Weather is starting to fill in, so we went from Santiago to, I guess we could go to the Falkland Islands. We'll say Stanley in the Falkland Islands. See where they can show up. Stanley. Falkland Islands, Stanley. 4 degrees there, partly cloudy. And then let's check out where we would be landing, which in Antarctica. Base Marambio. Think of the weather here. Yeah, so it won't give me any weather for down there. Marambio and Antarctica weather. It's currently -1, so it's chilly. Well, it's not chilly, it's relatively half decent temperature. So we are en route to Lens. We've flown over Snabs. We're starting to get into our weather here. We're expecting about 8 minutes to Lens. So once we get through Lens, we're going to descend to 22,100. Now we're looking for fuel. Still got 12,100 pounds. Alright, let's switch back over to Miami Center here. Just listening to them, just see if we can maybe get a couple of conditions. We are connected to Miami Center.
Then our American 08 is not going to be able to make that.
Sounds like someone had a mist. I'm guessing it's still probably thunderstorming pretty bad.
One, turn right heading 20 right there. Twin Tile, runway 9.
Right, 200, maintain 4,000. If we can work it out, so expecting ILS runway 9, American 08.
American 808, proceed direct red, Romeo, India, Tango, Tango, enable, on the ILS, runway 9.
Roger, direct grid.
The Fort Lauderdale ATIS 135.00. So let's do that right now. 135.
American 808, you're 10 miles from Great Crosshead, fire above 3,000, so.
300. Arrival expect ILS approach runway 10 left or 10 right. Departing runway 10 left and 10 right.
So 10 left, 10
Continuous
right.
operations are being conducted on parallel runways. Attentional aircraft. Hazardous weather information available from ATC. CPDLC service available. Aircraft taxi with transponder on. Shoreline traffic. Numerous birds in the vicinity of the airport. Please take all runway hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact. You have information kilo.
We have information kilo.
Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport.
So we're actually going
information
to
kilo.
adjust our
2119
in-flight
Wind 130 at 3.
information here.
Visibility 10. Light thunderstorm range.
Switch back over to
4,000
132.5.
scattered. 7,000 broken.
And then we're going to bring this up here. So we're going to delete Neil. And let's just take a look at the map here. We're going to go permit. So we're going to go permit to swags. So we're going to go SWAGS. We're going to go swags. And then from swags, we're going to go Enver. E-N-V-E-R. Enver. Execute that. So we're not going the ocean approach, we're landing runway 10 left, which we're going to have the ILS in there. Hopefully I did that to the right one. I don't think I did. Shit. Nope, I didn't. I did that to the wrong one. So we're still going to go to swags. We're going to go swags to Jerem. Yeah, so we're going to delete this. We're going to go delete Enver. And then we're going to go swags. Oh, we're not going swags. We're going to get swags in there. Okay, so delete that. Clear. We're going to go with Jerem. J-A-R-E-M.
They're getting very
There we go. Execute. So what we're going to do here now
Target power
is,
3,500 variable 6,000 points.
so what this will have us do now
Clear to land,
is...
runway 9 again. It's definitely a lot better below 4,000.
Okay, how far out are we from the lens? A couple minutes. So between... Let's go from the lens, we have to fly over permit at 22,100. Okay, so what it's going to have us do now, instead of us coming... I thought we would have been landing... I think it's 28, whatever it is. And instead of us landing from the ocean side, we're actually going to be going around. We're going to be going around and then on the ground side. So we're going to be facing the east when we land, which should be interesting. We are flying into weather here, and then we will be going. I'll bring up the map. Can't really see much yet because the map's a piece of junk. But anyways, so we have the flight computer planned. Once we go to fly over Lens here in about a minute and a half, we have to descend to 22,100 feet. We will check the ATIS one last time before we do land. Looks like clouds are fairly high up here. We're gonna be flying into the weather. So we are flying into the soup. We're gonna be flying straight instruments. But yesterday we flew for continue with water only, and we'll see what happens here. So yeah, what we're going to do is, so yesterday we were kind of in the soup for a couple minutes. The soup, for those of you who don't know, is when you're flying through clouds and you can't see. So when we do that, we're straight instruments. That's it. Just watch the instruments, and these purple lines here tell us if we're lined up with our flight plan or not. But once we cross over Lens, we are going to switch off our vertical navigations, and we're going to control our altitude ourselves. So if I go into the flight computer, we're going to be Lens Permit, Swags, Jerem. So by the time we get to Jerem, by the time we get to Jerem, we're pretty much going to want to be 1,500 feet, something like that. Okay, so now we're going to turn this off. We're going to go down 1,500 feet a minute. And 1,500 feet a minute. Let's not do that to me. 100 feet a minute to 22,100. 22,100. Oh, too low. 100 vertical speed down. 1,500 feet a minute. Just refreshing the weather here. Hopefully the game doesn't crash because it's lagging extremely hard right now.
American 08 has indicated runway 9X23.
Yeah, so I know, okay, so there we go. The weather's starting to load back in there now. So that, I guess that brown spot that's on the ocean, it means that I guess I don't have the pack for it. I don't really know.
I reached about by 5 now. American 08 taxi via Tango, uniform at uniform, cross runway 12, contact ground 18 on the other side.
Tango uniform crossway 12 and 18 on the other side for American 08. Appreciate your help. That was one hell of a ride.
Yeah.
Just gonna switch into that.
Polar drop on frequency Miami ground offline.
Well, you're not 121.8. I don't know how. I guess you can monitor. Yeah, I don't know. That's weird. It's 13 minute, 1,500 feet a minute. Yeah. So we should be at that that altitude by the time we get in there. Bring up my task manager here. Put that down. I'm going to run CPU temp here just for a sec, just to make sure we're not running into any issues. No, we're not doing too bad. She's a little warm, but nothing she can't handle. So we get some half decent ventilation there. Looks like the only person here now is Atlanta Center. Bring up the map. It does show the weather there, so you can see some there. I wonder if it'll show me. It doesn't really show me much. Minimize that. So we have no air traffic controllers online at all now. Okay, so I guess if we need any help, we're SOL now. But we're still doing not too bad. Going to review my flight plan here now. So we are en route to that was weird. What's going on? So I wonder if when the weather refreshes the altimeter, maybe? Or maybe that's what causes that? Yeah, I have no idea. That's just weird how it does it. We got a straight up crosswind, so we'll be, I don't know, I'm surprised because they have the wind. It might be different on the ground, could be wrong. I'll just wait and find out. So let's just zoom out here. Scroll down. Okay, so there's Permit. So we're gonna fly Permit to, is it Jerem? Permit to Swags. Permit to Swags to Jerem, so we'll come in and around. And once we're lined up with Jerem, we should be pretty much straight lined up with the runway. We are currently at 26,900. One last weather check on my phone here. Get rid of temperature, so I don't need that. Cloud. So it looks like it is still. It looks like most of the weather's starting to move off the coast. There's still some over the airport. Looks like we may have a bit of a crosswind when we do land. Check this. Okay, let's see where we're at here. 61 miles in from Permit. So I think once we cross over Permit, we're going to bring it down to 10,000 feet. We're going to slow our speed down. I don't know how I switched it from put that into meters, so I don't need that. Don't need that. It's there. Okay, there we go. We'll probably bring our speed down. I don't know why we've got so much speed. I guess it's set to 350 knots. What we'll do is probably when we start to do that, we'll pull the speed back to probably, I'm going to say 250 knots. 1,000 feet to go. Miles out. Good scattered clouds out there. Zoom out the map. Zoom in the map. Other update. Okay, so we're still clouds. I think when I heard the ATIS, I think it said that the clouds were at 5,000 feet. That's what the base of the clouds were at. 22,000 there now. ISFD heading from left IRS only. Okay. So I didn't figure what those numbers are for in the OP there. There is a checklist here. I guess we don't need to have all the landing lights and everything still on. Leave those on. Leave those on though. Yeah, I think we're gonna take the 172 over to NASA. They give me some real world practice with it. Three and a half minutes out, 30 miles out from our turn. We'll lower our altitude down there. This. I don't know what that's for. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. But 24 miles out. So we still got some scattered clouds. But from the sound of the airport, sounds like the airport still could be a little messy. Miles out. As you can tell, we're burning a lot more fuel now because we're at a lower altitude. Air is more dense. We're at minus 24 degrees Celsius outside though. It's a livable temperature. That's what a brisk Canadian winter day is. Still don't know how to set up the, I'm guessing like the spoilers and stuff are down here. Oh, there's trim for takeoff. Okay. Those are flaps. I'm excited. Hopefully we can go, I'd like to go visual approach, but it'd also be cool to do, what you want to call it? Do ILS into some bad weather. Oh, God. Stretch, yeah, there we go. Still scattered clouds from the looks of it. Starting to turn there now, so we're going to bring our speed down. Maybe we won't. Swags is pretty far, so maybe we'll keep it up. Is Swags anyways? There it is there. So let me see, once we're like 25 miles, so we'll say we're 17 minutes there now. If we drop 1,000 feet a minute, yeah, we'd be at a fairly low altitude. So maybe once we get to like 10 minutes out, we'll drop down to 10,000 feet, and then we'll just have to see. Because from Swags to Jerem, it's only 19 miles. So yeah, once maybe we're, I'm gonna say 10 minutes out from Swags, we'll drop down to 10,000 feet, start bleeding some speed. I think that's what our safest option is. So 7 minutes, we'll drop down 10,000 feet. That's my plan of attack. Let's do it. We do have weather. There's going to be thunderstorms there. You can tell by the weather. The weather's updated now. We're almost flying into the clouds. I've checked the weather on my phone, and we've heard from Miami. It's pouring. I know we're a bit of a difference between Fort Lauderdale and Miami. The ATIS at Fort Lauderdale said that it was heavy rain. Ceiling should be at 5,000 feet. And yeah, Miami said we were listening on here, and Miami actually had, it sounded like one or two missed approaches on the runway. So if we miss, we miss. Nothing we can't try again. We are fully loaded this flight with lots of human beings. But she's cloudy down there. What do we have for fuel? So we got 9.9 thousand pounds left. We should be, I think, all right. Once we start descending, we'll be using a lot less fuel to lose some speed as well. Yeah, yesterday when we were flying to Norfolk, if you missed it, yeah, so when we were descending, I don't know what I was thinking, but first approach on the airport, I haven't done it before, and was coming into land, and was coming in, I was at, I think, 3,000 or 4,000 feet, and I was like 3 mile final, like I was just gonna try to drop like a rock. I was cruising at like 200 knots, it wasn't happening. So for the runway, we went missed, went around, and tried it again, and we got it. It was like butter. Butter. I don't know if it's an optical illusion, the clouds being ahead like that, or if they're actually like up here at 22,000. I guess they could be up at 22,000 feet. We're still pretty much flying into a headwind here. I don't know if the airport's gonna. It's kind of weird how ATIS said to land, but I don't have any other frequency for ATIS again, so I don't know if I click on here if it'll, yeah, it just gives me Miami area control. So maybe once we get closer we'll be able to pick up an ATIS. Ugh, dry nose. Check the ATIS one more time before we do go in. 13.7 minutes out. Forgot to turn on the seatbelt sign, so we'll go ahead and do that. Seatbelts. Seatbelts. On. What we're going to actually do is we're going to turn on some extra lights here, just because we are about to be flying into some weather. And so we are... Okay, as you can see, that there is weather now on the ground. We are flying in and out of the clouds, 13 minutes out from the snags. I think we're going to be an instrument ILS approach on this one, boys and girls. Let's put some map open here, see what we can see. Looks like some of the weather has dissipated. Should be interesting. No, that's KB. It's KFLL there. IFR low en route. Maybe runway 1 left, we're going to tune that into navigation. Close that, so we got that. Check our radio stack here. We do have it in. 11 minutes out. I don't know if this thing has a pitot, but we're going to turn on the pitot heat, just because we are flying through the clouds. For 11 minutes. We're going to zoom this in here. Zoom that out, so it's 40 miles, so I'd say that's roughly, it's 35 miles from there to there. Zoom in. Next 10 minutes, we're going to bring it down. Down to 10,000 feet. Over to 9,500. Then 1,200 feet a minute. If I had to guess, this is going to bring us right into the clouds. That was weird. Stream crashed a little bit there. I don't know how much you missed, but yeah, so where we're at here, now we're descending down to 9,500 feet. We're 8 minutes out from Swags. We go Swags to Jerem to the airport. We're going to try and... looks like the weather's cleared up a little bit here. The weird part is, though, it's not loaded in. It's just water. So we might be landing on an aircraft carrier, which is interesting. We're gonna see what happens if we do this. We're trying to reload the scenery here. Hopefully the game doesn't crash. It might, I don't know. Just be patient with it. Well, as of right now, the oh, just gonna wait for it to respond. It still might come back. Let's just give it a sec here. Okay. Well, the game crashed there, so we're going to reload it. Hopefully, we didn't lose our flight. That would suck. It should let us resume the flight. Usually, it does. Let's see what happens. It's the moment of truth. Let's see. It's doing some weird stuff, but maybe. Loading. Oh, it's flashing. It's got a lot of, it's quite a bit to load in when you do restart. Hopefully it lets us fly from where we were. Ah, god damn it. Well, that sucks. Well, I wonder if it'll let us do the approach at least. KFLL. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing here. KFLL. Fort Lauderdale. Stormy. Customize. Special starts. No, that's not what we're doing here. Well, that sucks. Well, guys, that kind of sucks. I don't know how to do a new flight. No, that's not it. Yeah, resume current flight, and it, yeah, that sucks. I don't think it's like Flight Simulator where you can drag yourself to where you should be. Nope. Alright, well, I guess we will start in Fort Lauderdale for the next flight. And we will have to go from there. Hopefully everyone enjoyed the video of what was there before we lost the landing. We tried to reload the scenery, and it decided it didn't want to reload the scenery. So if you did like the video, hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe if you did like it. And yeah, our next episode will be Fort Lauderdale to the Bahamas. So I hope you enjoyed. Thanks.